I've got my 2 ears now, so what I'm going to move on to is sewing down the ears and the snout. I'm going to start with the snout first. So I'm just going to grab my needle. And then I'm going to position the snout where I think looks best on the face, so sort of in the probably the bottom half of the face in the center, I would say. So just select wherever you think looks best. I'm just going to play around with it and see what I like the look of. I think I'm happy with about here, so you can pin down. I probably am going to pin this down just a little bit just to keep it roughly where I want to sew that. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to do whip stitch all the way around, like I've shown you before, so I'll see you once I finish that. I just want to quickly show you as well, once you've got just a few more stitches to sew down, it might be worth adding a light amount of stuffing. If you don't, it probably won't make a massive difference, but I decided to add a bit of stuffing just to make sure that the snout kind of stays sticking out like that. So yeah, I will show you once I finished sewing all the way around. Now that the snout is fully sewn down, I'm going to move on to the ears. So I'm just gonna probably sew them to the top of the head about 6 single crochets apart, so something like this. So I'll show you once I finish that as well. Again, I'm just going to do basic whip stitches and I'm not going to stuff. So now that I've sewn down the ears and the snout, the next thing I'm moving on to is embroidering the mouth. And what you can see I've done here is I've used some scrap white yarn and I've gone through this stitch into this stitch here, and then I've gone through this stitch into this stitch here. And if you look at a picture of Agnes, she's actually got a sad face, so we need to make sure that the mouth is sort of tilted this way. So in order to keep the yarn in this position, I'm just going to grab my fabric glue and I'm going to add a dab of fabric glue around this point, and then I'm just going to press down like this. So I'll show you once I've done that. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but there's a dab of glue there, so I'm just going to press the mouth down on top of that, and it should hopefully keep its position there. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut these yarn ends. And then I'll just use my scissors like this. I'll tidy up the stuffing as well. Just a tip as well, to get rid of things like this, you can cut the stuffing, or you can get some tweezers. You can pull out the little stuffing bits that have gone on the outside of your work, or yeah, you can use some scissors to try and poke that back inside. So now that I've finished the mouth, the next thing I'm going to do is to show you how to make the felt pieces. So the first felt pieces we need to make are just 2 circles for the eyes. So I usually just make something freehand and then neaten it up a bit when I've compared it to a picture of the character that I'm trying to make. Just try to make it the right shape. So that's my freehand circle, and then I just place it on and see if it looks about right. I think it is. It might be just slightly too big, so I might just trim that down, and then once I'm happy with it, all I'm going to do is just place it on top of here and just cut round again to make 2. So I'll show you that when I'm done. So I've got my 2 white circles for the eyes that I'm happy with. The other thing that I need to cut out of white felt is a triangle to go here. So you'll see if you look at a picture of Agnes, she's got like a white patch there. So all I'm going to do is I'm just gonna again try and cut a triangle freehand. You might need to do this a couple of attempts to get something that you're happy with. This is my freehand triangle. I'm gonna place it here. I think that is about like the right width at the bottom here. What I need to do is I just need to make it slightly curved at the bottom so it fits around the snout. So again, I'm going to try and do that freehand. And then I'm going to place it again. You see how that fits a bit better, so I'm happy with that. And then this is a bit too tall, so I'm going to just try and trim the top part down a bit. And I'm going to try and smoothen it out a little bit as well, so rather than being a harsh point, in fact it's probably easier to just snip and then try and smooth that out a little bit. Yep, so I think that's about right. So yeah, just keep playing around with that, and then when you're happy with that, that's that piece complete. And then the next thing that we need to do is for the eyes, we need to make some black pupils. So I'm just going to show you how to do that as well. So for the pupils, I'm first going to start by cutting a kind of curved semicircle kind of shape here. And then I'm going to do a slightly sharper triangle. Like that. And then I'm going to place that inside the eye. That's definitely way too big at the moment, so I'm going to need to probably cut that down to about half the size. So I'm just going to attempt to do that now. And I'm going to, again, soften the point on the triangle part like that. And then I'm going to look at that again. I think the point is a bit too harsh, so I'm going to go through once more and round that. Take off quite a lot of the height there. And that, I'm happy with that. So again, I'm just going to try and replicate that for another black pupil. And while I'm at it, I'm going to show you how to just do the nostrils as well, because that's really simple. Yeah, I'll probably cut a new piece for that. So it's literally just a small black oval that we need to cut out. And then when you've got your oval, just kind of compare it to the snout. I think I've just about cut the right size for that. It might be, again, slightly big. But yeah, just keep going until you have something you're happy with, and then just replicate that once more so that you have 2 nostrils. And then that's actually all of the felt pieces that we need to make. So then I'll show you how I'm going to glue them down, and also how I'm going to add the detail to the eye. So I've got all my pieces, all my felt pieces now, but we're going to need to add some detail to the eyes using a black Sharpie, because Agnes has like an eyeliner and eyelashes kind of look. Now I did try a few other methods of doing this, like using embroidery thread and also trying to crochet it, and it just didn't look right, to be honest. So I don't normally like using Sharpie, but in this instance I'm going to. So I'm just going to show you how I do this for one eye. I'm going to try my best to do it on camera, but we'll see how it turns out. So I'm just putting a coaster down beneath this because actually when you use Sharpie on felt it can soak through into wood, as I have found out before. So yeah, just be careful, make sure you put something under it that you don't mind getting a little bit ruined. Doesn't always happen though, so you might get lucky. But yeah, all we need to do is kind of draw eyeliner first. So I'm really sorry if you can't see this properly, but I've got to try and do it at an angle where I can get the right shape. So just draw a line like that, and then just do a similar thing on the bottom. So like that. And then what you need to do is you need to add 3 eyelashes at the top and 3 at the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, and then same thing at the bottom. So 1, 2, 3. And yeah, as you can see, look, it's not the most professional looking thing in the world. It is literally Sharpie on a piece of felt, but it gives the effect that you need. And yeah, to be honest, it was the neatest way that I could find to do it. So I'm just going to do that again on the other eye. And then all we need to do is we just need to line up our pieces where we want them on the face and just glue them down. So I'll show you when I'm doing that. I've turned my work sideways, so hopefully you can kind of see this, but I've placed the felt pieces where I want them to go on the face, and all I'm literally going to do is take my fabric glue and just glue those down now. So I'll show you once I've finished that, and then when we've done that, all we need to do is make the dress and the tail, and those are luckily crocheted pieces, so there's no more gluing in fact the only piece of sewing left will just be on the tail, I believe, actually, because the dress pretty much is just crocheted as one piece. But anyway, I'll show you how to do all of that later. As you can see, all the felt pieces are glued down now. So this is what Agnes is looking like now, so nearly finished. Let's just move on to the dress, then the tail, and then we're pretty much done. I'm going to start off with my baby yellow, so I'm going to chain 5 to start with, as we'll start working in rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just single crochet across, so single crochet in each of the 4 single crochets. So I'm just trying to hide the tail underneath as well. 1, 2, 3, and then in the 4th single crochet you want to change to your baby pink colour. So I'm just gonna pull through in pink rather than yellow. Then I'm going to chain 1, and that is the end of row 1. So for row 2 we're simply just going to single crochet across in baby pink. Now I like to try and again hide the yarn tails when I'm working, so as you can see I'm kind of scooping up the yellow tail at the bottom there and just making sure that that flows through my work. This prevents you from having to keep cutting the yarn because we're going to keep changing colours every row, so it's easier to just ensure that the other colour kind of feeds through your row so that it's ready at the end here. So on the final single crochet where we can just yarn over and pull through in yellow rather than pink. So then we chain 1, and again that is the end of row 2. So I'm just going to show you once more doing row 3. So I'm going to, and we can cut that little bit of tail there. I'm going to single crochet all the way across. So 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4th one change to pink. So that's the 3rd row, unchain 1, sorry, and that's the 3rd row done there. So all we're going to do is for rows 4 to 33 we're just going to repeat this same pattern in rows 2 and 3, so pink then yellow then pink then yellow, and I will meet you at the end of row 33. So I finished round 33, and now what you should do is you should just double check that this piece that you've created, it kind of fits around the upper part of Agnes's body, quite not too loose but not too tight either. So if you look at the back here, you can see that just one more row will do it, which is perfect because that's exactly what we're going to do now. We're going to do the final row, which will be in pink. But yeah, just check that, and if you find that there's too many rows, you can get rid of a few, and if you find that there's not enough rows, you can add some more. You should just make sure that you keep the total number of rows to an even number, but yeah, that's absolutely fine. If you want to make some of your own adjustments there. So yeah, as I mentioned, we're just going to do row 34 now. So I'm just going to single crochet across, and I'm not going to worry about taking the yellow tail across with me this time. So now what we need to do is we're going to keep this pink yarn on the hook. We're going to turn our work, so I've already done that, so that it's vertical like this, and then, no, sorry, horizontal, not vertical. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start just slip stitching all the way across the edge. So we're going to do 34 slip stitches if we've done 34 rows. If you've done more or less than that, then you can adjust accordingly. So I'm just going to do a few slip stitches to show you, and then I will just carry on by myself and show you when I finished. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, and I'm just going to do that all the way to the end. I've got my 34 slip stitches now, and what I'm going to do is we're going to slip stitch row 1 and row 34 together to close the circle. So I'm just going to do 4 slip stitches. And now what we're going to do is we are going to start single crocheting all the way around, and we're going to do 35 single crochets, so on this edge that we haven't slip stitched. So I'm just going to chain 1, and then we're going to just start doing 35 single crochets evenly all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, and so on. So I'll meet you once I've done 35. So I'm on the 35th single crochet of the first round now, and I forgot to mention previously, but obviously if you added or removed some rows from the first part of this, then it's absolutely fine to have some more slip stitches and some more single crochets, or fewer single crochets and fewer slip stitches. Just make sure that the number of single crochets that you end up with in round 1 is divisible by 5, and then you can just adapt the pattern to suit you. So anyway, now we're going to change to yellow for round 2, so I'm gonna grab yellow. And then for round 2 we just need to do 4 single crochet increase all the way around, and that will get us up to 42 single crochets at the end of the round. So I'll meet you once you finish that. I'm on the final single crochet of the second round now, so all we're going to do is again change back to pink. And then we're just going to single crochet all the way around, so 1 single crochet in each of the 42. So I'll meet you at the end of round 3. So I got to the end of round 3, so now we're going to start working in rows again to do the skirt part of the dress. So I'm going to slip stitch into the next single crochet, then I'm going to do a chain of 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm going to single crochet across the chain, so 5 single crochets, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when I go into the 5th single crochet I'm going to yarn over in yellow to change colour. So now we're doing yellow, and then what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the 2nd and 3rd single crochets of the round 3 that we were just working on. So 1 slip stitch, and then 2nd slip stitch. Then we're going to turn our work and we're going to start working on row 2, so we need to do a chain first, and then we're just going to do 5 single crochets up the chain, and we're going to make sure to carry the pink yarn across with us because we're going to need to change colour at the end again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and change to pink, chain 1, turn, and now we're going to work row 3, and again we need to make sure that we carry the yellow yarn across with us. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the 5th single crochet we're going to change back to yellow. We're going to slip stitch in the next 2 single crochets of round 3, so 1, 2, then we're going to turn our work, chain 1, and then we're ready to work row 4, so you can kind of get the gist of what we're doing here. So for rows 4 to 41 we're just going to repeat what we've been doing in rows 2 and 3, and I will meet you when we get to the end of row 41. So I've got to the end of row 41, and now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to single crochet across like we did before, but I'm not going to bother carrying the pink yarn up with us because we don't need that anymore. So I'm just going to do 5 single crochets. Going to chain 1, turn, and then all I need to do is just slip stitch rows 1 and 42 together to close them. So I'm just going to do that now. And there you have it. Now you have your completed dress. All we need to do now is we need to work the straps, but in order to do this we need to actually put the dress on Agnes first. So just cut your yarn tails, weave in any tails, and sew them to some loops on the inside if you need to secure any, and then yeah, I'll show you how to make the straps. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze Agnes into the dress, so hopefully you crocheted the right amount of rows that you can do this. So there we go. I've just made it so that where we've done the slip stitches, that's on the side, so you can't really see that part. So yeah, just adjust however you want it to sit. And now, as I mentioned, we need to work the straps. So all you need to do is really simple. Just pick one of these slip stitches at the top here where you want the strap to start. So for me, I think I'm going to pick this one. And I'm just going to put my hook through this, reattach some pink. And I'm just going to chain however many gets me to the other side of the dress. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to try that now and see if that's long enough. So, sorry, I'm trying to make sure you can see everything, but as you can see, I could maybe do with one more chain. So I'm going to do a 9th chain. So 9, and then let's see. Yep, that seems about long enough. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick one of these slip stitches on the back. So perhaps this one here. I'm just going to put my hook through that, and I'm just going to slip stitch into it. Like so. So there we go, we've got our slip stitch. And then that is the strap for this side. So just need to obviously knot some of these tails on the back, so on the inside of the dress, and then just cut them to secure them. And you just need to do the exact same thing on the other side. And then once you've done that, we just need to do the tail, and that's going to be pretty much it. I like to do the tail last because I like to see where the dress is going to sit, so that I can make sure that when I sew the tail, it is underneath the dress. So yeah, I will show you when I've done both straps, and then we will do the tail. I've completed the straps on the dress, as you can see, and I've actually already crocheted the tail because it was really straightforward. So it's all you need to do is just do chain 16 and then slip stitch in each of the chains across, so 15 slip stitches, and then all you need to do is just turn Agnes over and then select a stitch at the bottom here to sew the tail into. So I'm just going to do that quickly now, and then I'll show you the finished product. I just finished sewing the tail down, and this is the final product. So there's the tail at the back there, and here is Agnes. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Do comment below if you have any other Animal Crossing characters that you'd like me to make a pattern for. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.